Hey, it's Rob with Road Dirt, and with a friend of mine, old friend of mine named Steve Hawkins, in his garage in Hawkins Lair down here with a couple of his bikes. Steve's a longtime friend, longtime motorcycle rider, and fantastic amateur mechanic.
Hey Rob, I appreciate you coming over and looking at this today.
Yeah, man. Steve's got the, check out the old Triumph, man. I love that. Old Bonneville right there. And the reason we're over here is because Steve on his BMW, which BMW is this? Which model
That's
is it?
a K1200,
K1200.
2003.
Yeah, he had a little bit of an off with it recently. Not really an off.
Everybody does it from time to time.
What happened?
You drop your bike.
He dropped the bike. And when you drop your bike,
you break plastic.
That's right. And I'm going to show you here what happened. So you were in a parking lot of some joint where you dropping a movie off?
Yeah, I was turned in a Red Box movie, and it was real cold that morning. I don't know if I had extra thick gloves or something, but I was embarrassed at myself for stalling my bike just as I was leaning into the turn to leave the parking lot.
Yeah.
And you know, if you're leaning, it's too late. So
that's right.
It stalled out. And
you're going down.
The ground, and it shattered everything on the left side of the bike, which is probably about $5,000 worth of plastic if you want to get BMW to replace it.
Yeah, brand new OEM. Good grief.
Yeah, and then if you find any pieces online, they're going to be messed up anyway. You're going to still have to do body work and stuff on them. But if you notice here, this took the brunt of it. It crushed all this, and I had to tape it all back together so I can get it all home.
Yeah, just to get home, yeah.
But I decided this was a lost cause, so I ordered me a new one of these. Well, not new, but I used one off of one of my Beamer Boneyard sites. And
yeah.
So I got this for about $140.
Excellent.
And then
another one of them.
There's another piece on the dash which fits right here next to my Speedo, and it did a job on that too, as you can tell.
Oh yeah.
So that's another $50.
Yeah.
And
to take it off, yeah.
You notice my side fairing is missing, and right. If I were to buy another one of these, it would be messed up anyway. I still have to do body work on it. And the cheapest I could find was about $200.
Wow, yeah.
So I got to thinking about this, and I'd heard about welding plastic before. And,
see, that freaked me out. I'd never heard that before. Welding plastic? What the heck?
You got to watch out for getting your eyes flashed, you know, welding plastic.
Yeah.
But I looked on YouTube and saw what they were doing, and I said, man, I could do that.
Yeah.
So I decided, instead of replacing this main piece, which had about a 15-inch crack in it, it went from the bottom all the way up to the side of the tank here.
Yeah.
I decided to try my hand at welding and doing a little body work. And I wish I hadn't done it all yet. I could show you how to do it, but it's really pretty simple.
Well, let's take a look at it. Let's check this handiwork out right here.
Okay, I'm going to show you the inside first, where you can see the extent of my crack. It started here next to the engine and went all the way up to this vent shaft here next to the gas tank.
Yeah.
And it also dinged up the outside, which if you own a K12 and you've ever dropped it, you're going to ding this up right here. And I didn't want to pay for somebody else's mess, so I decided to fix mine. And it's really cool the way this welding plastic works, because
so how'd you do it?
Nothing to it. So what I do, let me grab me that soldering iron there. I use my trusty welder that I've had for about 30 years.
Yeah.
And basically what you do is, on this face where there's no paint, you melt about a 1-inch section, and then you push the melted plastic in over the crack from each side.
Wow.
And you do that over and over until you get the whole thing done. And then I took a piece of wire screen like you put on your windows.
Yeah.
And I cut out some pieces, and
just kind of.
Let me grab another tool here. I'll show you what I did. I took this bad boy right here, which has a wide area and it holds a lot of heat.
Yeah.
I heat this with a torch, and I hold it over the plastic, and it will actually melt the screen down into the plastic.
That's amazing.
So at these critical areas, at the ends, at this face right here where I don't want it to start cracking again, at the corners, and a few places, I've melted the screen down into the plastic.
And melded it all back together.
That's right. Now on the paint side, you got to do it a little differently. Now you can still melt in some of that wire, but you'd have to make sure it's down below the surface.
Yeah.
Right? So I decided not to do that. I may regret that later, but I think it's plenty strong enough.
Seems to be, yeah.
But what I did here to cover up the messy looking welds is I take pieces of spare fairing made out of the same plastic. I laid a strip of it in the actual weld, used my tool here and melted it down into the plastic to fill in all of those areas.
Off the other broken piece that was unusable.
Right, with new plastic over this. And then you can take this and heat it again and help smooth it out some. But you're still going to have some body work to do. You can see here that I've got compound curves in this fairing, so it's kind of difficult to get all this to blend and work right. But I'm about there.
Yeah, it's looking good, man. That's gonna be amazing when it's done. I'll have to come back and get some photos of it when you've got the piece all finished.
Well, I painted these before, so I think I can get it painted right. I just got to make sure the body work is smooth and doesn't show up through the paint. But I'm pretty proud of that. I've never done it before, and
heck yeah, man!
If I can do it, have your hand at it. I think you probably can too.
That's right. Now you got to admit that's pretty amazing. I'd have never thought about welding plastic on fairing. But instead of going back to the dealership and, paying an arm and a leg for it or hunting for a brand new OEM or something like that online, hey, you never know. Yeah, Google it, Bing it, YouTube it. You never know what you may find.
Even if you mess it up, you haven't lost anything.
Yeah, that's right. What the heck, man? Go for it. That's great.